Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Narrative was founded on this really outlandish, crazy idea that perhaps your life would be much better if you had a wearable camera to record and capture the memories of the moments that matter. This idea was created very consciously in 2011 by looking at a plethora of business ideas with this coming out on top. And from the start, it seemed that this idea was really impossible. We were to create a hardware product with a storage and image analysis service attached to it and apps to organize the photos from this camera. That was like 4 or 5 companies rolled into one. Hardware is also something that you really need to work with in retail, probably. And doing retail well is also a company in itself. I realized quickly after realizing that this idea was impossible to get out of my mind, that I needed a stellar team to help me accomplish the vision of this. And I believe firmly in what Jane said, that a journey is best traveled in company, in good company, and we spread ownership of a founder team of 6 people on various levels. And having this really amazing team in place has helped us overcome a big bunch of challenges that were all impossible in itself. From the start, when we acquired seed funding to create this, we have every day bet the entire company on the market accepting our vision. We gave ourselves 6 months runway on the seed capital. If we didn't produce a successful pre-order campaign in 6 months, we would have been erased from the market. But above all, we defined for ourselves what success was, or rather, we decided that we didn't care about success. Success is empty if you look at it. And it's easy to say that we've acquired this much funding or this much sales, and it's all empty because there's always someone else doing something better. We believe in not striving to create success, but always strive to create value. Value for the customers, value for the people working in your company, value for your investors. And everything we do is about creating that value. It can be, for example, the woman emailing me and saying that her father came home from Iraq with a wound to his head, meaning that he couldn't remember the Christmas if he hadn't had our camera. Or the photographer that was disabled in a car accident and could continue her profession through our camera. To create that value is what we strive for as a team. We were born into the US market from the start, even when we were from Sweden. And as a team, we're every day overcoming the challenges that allows us to create the value for our customers.
Thank you. Very impressive. I'm going to kick off with a question, and I'm sure the other jury members will follow. So, very impressive. How hard would it be for someone to copy your product?
It would be possible to copy perhaps the hardware or the software or the storage, or maybe go to retail as we are doing. But to do everything in one package has been very hard. We've failed a lot. We're still failing a lot, and getting up and learning from that. And the market adoption, the turnout around our product has been immense, and people believe that we are the market leader and that we earn that title. And we're going to continue to earn that title.
I have a question. Here in the US right now, it's very topical for policemen to wear cameras that film everything they do. Are you looking at all for this to enter that market as well? And why did you aim for photographs versus film?
We are not actively pursuing the enterprise side of the market or the law enforcement side of the market because we want to create a consumer brand and then move to in the enterprise direction. We believe that is more sustainable than doing the opposite. Your second question, why did we go for photography? It was because we wanted to create a truly wearable camera. If you're shooting film, you're always going to select just the 1 hour of film that you want to capture. With narrative, you can capture your full day, if you want to, your full week, if you recharge the battery, but you can wear it and forget it.
Jane?
I was thinking about who is it that wants your product first? Who's the first? We're talking about people who've been injured in Iraq or in car accidents. Is that the first niche?
It's not our first niche. I think we have a couple of niches that we are approaching right now, and one is the memory enhancer, but more so for people that have quote-unquote healthy memories, healthy memory capacities. Even people like you and me who can remember things easily, also forget things. And with this device and this service, you have a more easy time to remember the things that matter. Like when you're playing with your son, this is my son here, we're playing Lego with him, I want to be in that moment and not think too hard about taking photos. So parents is also a good target market for us, as well as travelers, because those are two target markets where you are, when you are a parent and when you are with your kids or when you're traveling, you're doing things that you want to remember, but you don't want to interrupt those moments with taking out a camera phone.
What about privacy? I know from my life in advertising that every time we shoot on location, we need releases from people who end up in the photos. And is there an indicator that shows that the camera is on? I mean, I'm not sure I want to talk to you all the time and being photographed.
Actually, the camera is the indicator. The camera is always on, because if we had an on-off switch and you went into the locker room at the gym,
Yeah.
if you switch it off, people around you would still be uncomfortable. So we made it so that the camera is only off when you actually physically put it in your pocket or in your bag. So we quickly create a habit for our users to take the camera off when it's not appropriate to take photos. And that's one of the examples of design decisions that on a profound level shaped our product. Another is that we never stream images directly from the product onto the web or into the public. There's always two conscious decisions going into a photo being made public. First, that you decide to wear the camera, and then that you look at a photo and decide to share it. And that way we create a sort of a firewall. You can make one mistake in one of the decisions, but probably not in both.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the product? I realize that there's a camera, but I'm assuming that there is something more behind the camera.
Yes, so the camera is a 5 megapixel camera with an 8 gigabyte onboard memory, and it also has a GPS, so we can make the photos searchable by location. And the photos are organized in an app. They are stored in the cloud, so you don't have to organize the photos yourself. We bring out the good photos and allow the bad photos to sink to the bottom. But they're still retained, so you can always go back to any point in time and see what did you experience at that time. And it's a really great way to remember much more of what you did. People tell us that they have boring lives. Actually, when you start using narrative, you realize that you believe you have a boring life because you're forgetting about all the amazing people that you meet. With just a flick of a thumb, you can go through your past week with narrative, and you will realize how much you experienced, actually. And that has a great value added on top of the more nostalgic value you get perhaps a year later or 3 years later.
what's your biggest technical challenge that still remains, or business challenge, apart from money and growing fast? I mean, in terms of with the product.
Actually, the biggest challenge is a mechanical one, that people come in all shapes and forms. We wear different clothing. It's very, very hard to make a product that are going to take good photos of your life, no matter how you're shaped or what you wear. And so that's a challenge that we are working on overcoming.
Megan?
Do you envision, can you hear me? Is this working?
Yep.
Do you envision partnering with any photo sharing services in the future, like Blur Books or anything like that?
Yes, I think it's an exciting area to explore, both in terms of increasing the value and the monetization of the product.
Do you see any differences between the Scandinavian market and the US market? Do you need to do things differently here than you're doing in Scandinavia?
The main difference is that we are not actively working towards the Scandinavian market. It's that our US is our home market, and the attention we get trickles down to the rest of the world, including Scandinavia. But the diversity in how people use narrative across our user base is so immense, so that we cannot see distinct patterns that differ between Scandinavia and the US. About half of our customers are here, half is spread over the rest of the world, and people seem to love the product equally in the US and in Scandinavia.
I was wondering about the comparison between this and Google Glass.
Well, first of all, I think this is a much like nicer way and unintrusive way to like document your life or take photos without actively taking out your phone. Also, you don't need to have the glasses on. And also, you can use this in a lot of different ways. You can put it on your pet, on your car, on your bicycle. So I think it has more usage.
Put your glass on your pet as well, Sebastian.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the Segway effect that Google Glass have, which is a much more friendly product. You don't seem stuck up the way you seem with Google Glass.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Narrative.